I will call the meeting to order of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. If you would provide roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Denise?
Here.
Ms. Drumheller?
Here.
Ms. Webster? Here. Mr. Renzi?
Present.
Mr. Allen? Mr. Morrow? And Ms. White?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Going to announcements and agenda modifications. I do have an addition to the agenda to add under number 7, unfinished business. We can add it as number 4 to update on the volunteer of the year. Okay, and one other. This is not. This is more of an announcement than an agenda modification. As we go through the meeting, and I know Joanne, I know you're on Zoom. I can't see you, but you're there. What I'd like to do to make it easier for everyone to have an opportunity is, as we go item to item, to let the staff, to let Mr. Blankenship give us his information, and at the end, then I'll ask each member if they have any input related to that, so that we have a better flow of our meeting and information going around. Is everyone fine with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. It should say a minutes from April 22nd. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes, and I will make a motion that we approve the minutes from April 22nd.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have an approval of the minutes. And now we go to public input. Do we have anyone with public input today? Do we have anyone on Zoom?
Not at this time.
Okay, with no public input, we'll go to item 7 of the agenda, unfinished business. Mr. Blankenship.
Good evening, everyone. Just a few items I wanted to place on the agenda for discussion. Riverview Park planning, thank you for those that were able to make it last Tuesday night. So this project is on its way. We had over either at or over 100 folks that showed up, and that was fantastic. So the next steps is the consultant will come back with more finer points of a conceptual plan that we'll bring to, eventually we'll bring a plan to the advisory board to discuss and adopt. But continue talking up the project, because we should start hearing about the grant applications that we have in right now, either later this month or definitely in June. So again, the project is underway as far as planning goes, and that's a very exciting thing. I'll take any questions anyone has about Riverview Park planning.
Not so much a question as a concern. Attending these and other state meetings, I see a flow from the national to the state to communities as far as what we can do. I do have some concerns about it. There's naturally grant money is something we should consider, but I think more important than grant money is that our community, what it is, and do we want to keep it the way it is and expand with more people and younger people, or are we just looking to spend money? So I am, when I heard, and the young man did a great job, but when I hear the same message over and over and over when attending meetings, I either have to stop attending meetings or have to make a consideration. Are we just, is this about what we want, or what we need, or is it about how to spend grant money? And that's a concern I have. Thank you.
Can we still speak of Riverview Park? Yes, that's what we were talking about. Okay. I have a few concerns on Riverview Park. It's supposed to be the centerpiece of Sebastian. I was there today, and I saw a few things that I think could be changed or modified. One thing I saw, there's not much grass left in Riverview Park. There's a lot of sand and a lot of dirt. Second thing I saw, there's leaves all over the place. Looks like it's never been raked in a month. Third thing I noticed, leaves and debris were in the playground where the kids play. Not good. The walkways were not clean, and there's a large area of deep water on the Indian River Drive side. Maybe something can be done about that. I know it's been that way for a long time, but these are concerns I have in Riverview Park. Can you address those?
I sure can. First of all, with the water, that is the retention area. So the retention area is doing its job by retaining the water. That's why you see standing water there.
Can't that be drained off, put
Well,
somewhere to the river maybe?
It does underground. You have to collect it on site, and then it dissipates and eventually makes it underground.
That takes 2 to 3 days to do that.
That's dry retention. That's how that works. As far as the debris and all, it was mowed today. Keep in mind, at this point, the city does not maintain Riverview Park. It's maintained by a private contractor.
He's not doing a good job.
Pardon?
He's not doing a good job.
Okay, and with that said, it was mowed today, so they didn't follow up after themselves. They didn't pick up before they mowed. Otherwise, it wouldn't be all the debris around there. So we recognize their flaws, and we are addressing that. And you know, it is part of their duties to pick up debris everywhere, playground, all. As far as the grass goes,
I was there at 2 o'clock, 2:30, so I don't know if he had mowed it already or not, but I didn't see anybody mowing.
I was through there at 3, and it had been freshly mowed, so they probably did it this morning.
Richard, there's not much to mow.
As far as the areas where there's no grass, with all and we actually, staff talked about that today in our staff meeting about what we can do to address that. With all the shade there, it's hard to grow grass. So we need to come in and professionally trim what needs to be trimmed, and plant some more grass and see if we can get it. It is irrigated, so it's hard to grow grass in shade.
As far as keeping the playground clean,
Again, that probably was when the vendor mowed or blew, they blew everything into the playground and didn't pick it up.
I have a comment about the grass on the playground or in the park. And we've had this discussion some years ago. It comes off and it's a problem to get grass, yes, because of the shade, and also because the park is used so much with vendors and activities and things. So I don't know if we'll ever get to where there's going to be grass in there. It's just the way it is because the park is used a lot.
Ms. Webster, do you have any comments?
So we're talking about
Riverview Park.
but not about the meeting and so I think it was really positive. I thought it was a great idea. And I think enhancements to the whole area would be fabulous. I think it's really positive. And if they're going to give us grant money, I think we should take it and we should use it.
I have a
I
question.
attended the
you.
meeting, and I thought it was very interesting. So many out-of-the-box ideas that were great. But I use Riverview Park a lot, and it is very sandy. I don't know if there's alternatives to grass, if there can be mulching or something around, but between the squirrels, the strollers, the dogs, the people that walk, not just on the sidewalk, there's a lot of activity within the grass that makes it very sandy. So I've never seen good grass in Riverview Park, and I've lived here for a couple of decades. So I don't know if there's, as we move forward with planning projects, are there other surfaces that would make it look nicer and be able to be upkept without it with still being our premier park? Because you're
But it's a
exactly
park
right,
with
that
trees and
it is.
grass. That's what Florida's
Yeah.
sand.
I have a question.
Yes, Joanne.
Since I wasn't able to go to that meeting, is there a way I can pull up online things that were talked about and discussed?
Joanne, if you go to this YouTube channel on Sebastian, both of the meetings there was one at 3 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, and they were taped.
And what do I pull it under? Just YouTube?
If you go to the
Sebastian?
City of Sebastian YouTube page,
Oh, okay.
and then
all
it
right.
just brings up all the committee meetings and the council meetings, and you'll see that I think
Okay.
it's titled Riverview Park
Park planning.
Planning.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, so Bryant Cart,
I just wanted to.
oh, excuse, I'm sorry. Come on up, Mr. Allen.
Empire Terrace. I'm also an alternate board member. So I want to comment not on the planning session, but on the current state of Riverview Park. I hear some very valid positions. I love the native side of Florida. I love the natural growth here. Grass doesn't grow in Florida. It doesn't. It's not native to Florida. It's not supposed to be here. We make it exist here by constantly fertilizing and constantly irrigating. It's a lot of work to force Virginia to grow in Florida. The grass that we do have there is great. It's pretty well maintained, but it's not in most of the parks. So I'm not going to solve this problem, obviously, but I'd like some kind of solution that takes what exists in Florida, which is the sand and the oak trees, the live oak trees, and try to make it a little nicer to look at, where it looks intentional instead of like the grass just couldn't make it. And I think that would maybe help some of the problem, make it look a little more intentional, without trying to shove Virginia in.
Maybe like sawgrass or something.
Maybe sawgrass, maybe just raise up the turf a little bit so it doesn't look like it's all been tread down into nothing, right? But one other quick comment, and this is on the very short term, not talking about planning. We need more garbage cans. Yeah, that's it.
Good, good call, Mr. Allen. Yeah, those garbage cans are always overflowing there.
But I think you're missing one of my points here. It doesn't seem like it's being maintained. It doesn't look clean to me anymore. You understand?
I do. And I think, if I may, I think maybe it seems unintentional, like it's just not being maintained. But if it did look intentional, if we had some Florida native bushes growing around some of those oak trees where it looks like a Florida native permaculture situation where the plants are intentionally there, as opposed to it's just leaves falling and natural debris, because like leaves are part of the ecosystem, right? They break down in a couple of days and they're part
That's
of
why
the
they
soil.
make rakes. That's why they have rakes.
That's why they have rakes, right?
Rake
But if you
'em up.
break up the leaves, then you have to fertilize, because the leaves normally get broken down into natural fertilizer for the trees. So like
Yeah, I didn't
it's a
realize
give and
that.
take, you know?
Yeah.
But I think maybe making it more intentional, I don't know what that would look like, but maybe.
Chairwoman, if I may,
Mr.
to both the gentlemen's point, staff recognizes the shortfalls with maintenance in that area, not just Riverview, but further north. And we're addressing that in the 2025 budget. So we will, first thing in the morning, go to the playground and make sure that
Yeah.
it's clean.
Yeah.
But we are addressing the shortfalls in the upcoming budget.
Well, we
Okay,
thank you for that.
Is that something you could share with us when you say you're addressing it?
I wouldn't really want you to hear it before council does, so,
Oh,
with all due respect.
interesting, okay.
Okay, so we will continue to look at Riverview Park and give you our comments about the maintenance and the other levels as we come up. So obviously you and your staff have noticed the shortfalls, but
But this was about the planning meeting, right?
this is about Riverview Park that
Oh, I thought it was about the
Mr.
planning
that
meeting.
Mr. Renzi brought up.
May I ask one more question? Are artificial grass, is that legal or illegal? If
They're legal.
it is legal now?
You know,
Okay.
they're expensive. But they are legal, and as long as they meet drainage and those type of requirements.
Okay. I know at one time it wasn't. That's why I was just wondering if
I
they
feel like that
changed
might
the
be a
law.
real quick way to get people not to go to the park. I would not go to the park if they had fake grass there. I'm not doing it.
Okay, Bryant Court Playground.
I wanted to put this on the agenda because it's the next playground in the CIP to be replaced. So we've started getting designs from vendors that we can bring to you guys and discuss and hopefully come to a consensus on what's going to replace the playground at Bryant Court. We hope to have a design chosen and project underway by October of 2024.
Okay, great. Nice. Backstops at Barber Street.
And then likewise, this is a project that's been on the books for a couple of years that we're taking up a notch to get a design done and eventually go out to bid to try to replace those and make them safer. And they have some age on them. They're not unsafe, but they need to be upgraded before they do become unsafe.
We've done so many improvements at the Barber Street Park that the stuff that hasn't been improved looks a little shoddy.
Yeah,
So when you say the backstops, are you talking about the fencing?
for baseball, behind home plate.
Yeah,
Just
I know
the-
those fields. I lived there for 12 years.
But I just wanted to put that on your radar as something that we're working on that's been in the pipeline, but we're taking it up a level.
Okay. And then our addition to the Volunteer of the Year.
I have for you some hard copy applications for Volunteer of the Year that you can pick up on your way out if you'd like. It will be posted on our social media, on our website. So we start collecting, well, the deadline for applications is October 16th. So we could start collecting at any point. But as we move closer to the 16th, we'll talk in more detail about the protocol and how this process will work once we get the applications in and how we'll debate that. And
So is the application presently on the website and
it is not.
available?
It's just in hard copy right now, but I'll get it to Avery and IT tomorrow, or MIS tomorrow.
So you think, will it be available like on June 1st?
Oh,
Yes?
yeah.
Okay. And in what part of the website would we have people go to?
I think for this, since it's not just a Parks and Recreation endeavor, it's a citywide endeavor, that I would suggest it be on the front page of the website.
Okay.
Could you do something like flashing like new so that people,
Yeah, and I'm sure that, well, I think
Front page
our
is good.
new social media person,
She'll dazz it
she'll
up
take,
somewhere.
put it on the city and the other
on
things, so
Facebook
that's
and
great.
all that stuff.
Well, thanks, we'll get some on our way out. Item B, committee member park updates. Joanne, I know you're gone, but you have updates on your parks, because I know you've been in town for part of this month.
No, I have people checking on the park for me and I haven't heard anything, so I'm assuming everything is good as usual.
Yay, well, that's good news. Mr. Renzi, do you have anything on your parks?
Well, I said what I wanted to say about Riverview. The other two parks are fine.
Okay. Ms. Webster?
mine, everything's good. Party Park's great. I did have somebody I work with, they live in Vero, and they had their daughter at Creative Playground, and they were totally impressed.
Good.
So you should know that they thought it was the best playground ever, even better than the ship, the pirate ship. So good job.
Good.
Mr.
Good to
Denis?
hear.
Okay. Mr. Allen?
Yeah, so Bryant Court, we got the update on that. Historic Park still looks beautiful, very well maintained as always. The last one is, oh, blanking on it, Kildare. Kildare is kind of a wild card. Literally, it's wild. I'd love to know if the Parks Department has any plans for what to do with Kildare. Right now, it's fantastic for a walk through native Florida, which I love. But do you have plans for it?
We don't have any formal plans or, in fact, we haven't really had any discussion about Kildare. I have some thoughts of my own for it because it is a very unique situation. But to answer your question, no, we don't have any plans at this point.
All right. As long as you guys are keeping it clear enough that people can walk back and forth and enjoy a little slice of native Florida in the middle of their backyard, I'm very happy with it.
Thank you. Mr. Morrow?
Yes, the Main Street Boat Ramp, Yacht Club, Marina, both looking fine. Pickleball continues to be busy. Everything's good there, except I think the storms over the weekend did a little damage on the windscreens, so they'll need some plastic ties. That's it.
Thank you. And my parks are fine. I don't really have anything to report this month on my parks. Upcoming events at Riverview Park, Mr. Blankenship.
Monday, the 27th at 11 a.m. will be the Memorial Day ceremony. Concert in the park on June 7th. I believe this is the first time that the Sebastian Rowing Club has ever used Riverview for their summer camps. So they will be there for 2 weeks this summer, hosting their summer camp, their summer rowing camps. And then, of course, we got the July 4th parade and activities coming up. The parade application is on the website now. So if anyone is interested in getting in the parade, they can go on our website and the application is there, or come into City Hall, or there's many ways that they can get an application.
Okay. Anybody have any comments? Okay. Item 8, new business, the Park Memorial Program Draft.
So I had hoped to be ready to go over this with you guys tonight, but it's more complex than, because it's being expanded, or I'm recommending that it be expanded. So I'm not at the point tonight to go over this with you, but hopefully at the June meeting we'll be able
Move
to go
it to
over
June.
and get your feedback on it.
And item B, the Harbor Lights.
Well, if you watched the last council meeting, it was a consensus that Harbor Lights will be a passive park. So we have some work down the road to do in developing that. And keep in mind that it was clear from council that passive park was the key element. That it was nothing there active. It was a everything there could be passive, picnic, whatever a passive park brings. But that.
Excuse me. Oh,
What,
does that?
Joanne,
this-
can you just hold till he finishes
Oh.
and then I'll get to you?
Okay.
Thank
Yep,
you.
I thought he was.
I'm
Sorry.
done.
Okay. Oh, Joanne, he's good.
So does that mean then we could put a few picnic tables, you think, in there, or benches and things?
Yes, we will go through a planning process because, we'll have to meet ADA, so there have to be a proper ingress and egress, and we want to make it a safe location, so we'll have to look at traffic around the area. But picnic tables and benches and maybe the bench swings and that kind of stuff would be
I
ideal.
think that's a
Yeah, that's
fabulous
good.
addition to the working waterfront, to be able to have an area where we could picnic and still have the swings that we talked about, or the gliders on the riverside, and the new bathrooms are right there. That's going to be a wonderful addition for us. That's exciting.
Very
That's
excited
very
about it.
exciting.
I have something to ask, though. When people are crossing from like the Chamber of Commerce corner across, that road. Or maybe even if we end up developing a sidewalk or something for this Harbor Lights, if there's any way we can get, if there's a walkway, a way for people to push a button and the lights flash so that they can cross safely across the road there. Because sometimes it's hard because you've got cars turning in and cars going out and the parking lot is there. So it's something I think we need to think about, having a safety walk across if we're going to use that park, either at the corner where the stop sign is, maybe already on the Chamber corner or somewhere, but something where they push a button and it splashes and cars know that people cross. Just something to think about.
Yes, and what will occur when we do the park planning, not only for the Harbor Lights side, but also the other side of the road and that whole general area. I'm sure there will be a traffic study done, and traffic engineers will give us the safest methodology in getting people back and forth across the streets and all that kind of stuff. That may well it be a flashing crossing area for pedestrians, which is common.
Okay, anybody else have any comments? Okay, the private special event discussion?
We're going to have a discussion with council, and I believe it's at the first meeting in June, about how we handle private, for-profit special events in the city. We just want to make sure we have a good grasp on how these reservations or these special events will be handled, because I'm speaking from my experience, they can very easily get out of hand if you don't have a good grasp on controlling the applicant and what they do there. And we want to make sure that we have the wherewithal to, if somebody comes here with an event that really doesn't fit our style in Sebastian, that we have in place ways that we can say, no, this is not, we're not entertaining this application. So that's a discussion we'll bring forward. I don't know that we'll request any action, but at least have a discussion about how council wants to handle that and these type of events.
So is there like a history and is there a reason why Riverview Park, other than the events that the city kind of co-sponsors with other not-for-profits, is there a big reason to rent that out? Because it really closes off everything to anybody that just wants to use the park for the duration of the event.
Well, I mean, there would be several reasons. Having activities in the city is one, but there's other ways to do that. It does bring some revenue to the city. It does bring some economic impact to the city. Some may argue that it adversely affects economic impact when you got the roads closed and all that stuff. So it's just we want to have the discussion about how we want to handle it, because right now it's easy to handle, but there could come a time, we're a growing community, that we just want to make sure we have the right policies in place to handle it properly, however that is.
It seems like they have an awful lot of stuff down there now.
We do. There's only the majority of it is what I consider our partner organizations. That's the majority of the use, but it is almost every weekend. So it's busy.
And is Riverview Park the only location where any of these events could be held?
Oh no, it's the only park on the river that could hold an event, but there's other parks that we have that would be event friendly. They just wouldn't be as event pretty, if you will.
Right, so that is going to go to council the first June meeting?
I believe so, and it's just a discussion. It's not
Just a discussion, yeah. Okay. Okay, does anyone have items for our next meeting is June 24th. And does anyone have anything they'd like to see placed on the agenda? Does anyone have any other comments for Mr. Blankenship? Up to you, Mr. Allen.
I'm going to push the envelope just a little bit. The new format, having the alternates sitting down instead of up, I believe there's a member of the city who makes that call. I would love to request they watch this recording to see if the flow matches their expectations.
Okay, Mr. Blankenship, can you talk to the city? It's the city attorney.
City attorney, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
I-
Madam Chair,
Is there a reason, though, that this wasn't discussed with this body, and this body just gonna be?
Oh, you gotta turn your microphone on, Mr. Denise. Press the button. There you go.
Is it on now?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I hate to see this organization just, stand down and just approve things. I'd like to continue the discussions that we've had before and not just to, sit there and say, I agree, I agree, I agree. I think what made this so interesting for me over the years was being able to feel that you were actually achieving something. You were making recommendations that this city sometimes adopted and sometimes came back with reasons why not. But and that's not the reason I'm leaving. It's my age more than anything. But quite frankly, I don't want to be on any committee that I'm just, a stamp that says, okay, we agree, we agree, we agree. To me, that's not a committee, and I would hate to see this organization become that. And after the next meeting, I'll be out there and I'll be trying to help that we don't become that.
I can't tell you, Mr. Denise, that I was at the city council. This was brought to city council. It wasn't brought to any committee. And it's the policy changes, and the city committee, the city council voted to change the policy, just like we've had a couple of the way we do agendas, and we're going like, when do we get to talk about our stuff? So these were all driven from the city council to all of the committees. We don't get a voice, and we were not given a voice in this. They approved it, and that's how it got to us.
But that is my point. Are we going to be
Press your button so she
again? Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay, that is exactly my point. Are we going to just be a committee that spreads out? We don't have enough people out there to share what the council wants. The whole idea is that we would present ideas to it. So if there is no need for new ideas, then is there a need for this committee in the future? I hope this committee.
Maybe they want a rubber stamp committee up here. Just say yes and everything looks great and it's wonderful and boy, you're doing a great job, which you are doing a great job. But,
I hate
that's
to
not
see
why
it
we're
come
here.
to that, but I think I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to disagree because I've had good experiences with all of the staff when I've brought them issues and problems. And I think we are here to discuss the feedback that we get from our local communities and from friends and residents that live here. There's some things that are policy, and this was a policy that the city council adopted. So really, if you think it's not good for the committee, I'd encourage you to email the city councilman, because that's really where it lies. It's not, it's process and policy.
and Madam
And can I
Chair,
say, while I don't agree, if they made a decision, I think that these guys are able to input,
Whenever they
give their
wish.
input.
Correct.
We saw that tonight. I don't care for this situation. I don't agree with it, but it's a policy that they've made, And as long as they can still, alternates, whoever they may be, can still have input.
Yes, and be recognized as anyone else.
Right.
Absolutely, and
Can
they
I
will
say
be.
something?
But it's kind of an awkward change.
It's a
Can
very
I say
awkward
something
change.
on this?
Joanne, did I hear you?
Yes, yes. I've been on this committee long time. And I don't like that our alternates are sitting away from us. I am going to email the city council and tell them that they're part of the group, that I feel they should be up there with us. It's just strange for me. The other thing is, I'm not sure if Mr. Denise, if you're just saying that there's not a lot going on or that we're rubber stamped. I don't feel that way. I think right now things are going so smoothly with Parks and Rec. There's always things that'll pop up and then we'll be addressing that. But right now I think, and I feel council does listen to us when we do bring our opinions or our comments to them. But I think right now we should be happy that things are running very smoothly. I always think back to the dog park and to the Frisbee thing, and those were always issues that came up and we dealt with them. But right now things seem to be running smoothly. But I am going to send an email to the council because I would rather have the alternates up with us. Just
Good.
my comment.
Good. Mr. Allen, do you have something to say?
So it being a policy change, clearly there was a very real need for this to happen in some advisory committees, but perhaps not all of them. And so it might have just been that this policy change was everyone must change how they're operating, when it perhaps should have been it's up to the chairperson of each committee to decide how this is handled. And so I will also be writing an email, and
Good.
that is going to be my proposal.
Good. Thank you so much. I think that's a good place to go with it. Before we adjourn, Mr. Blankenship?
I think at this time, I would like to ask that the board join us down here to present Mr. Denise with a plaque for appreciation for his many years of service to the Parks and Recreation Advisory
Yes.
Board. So if y'all will join us down here.
Yeah.
Are we adjourned?
Mr. Denise, for your many years providing volunteer service as a member of the Sebastian Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, we thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. I just, I'm not going away though. And, yeah, so you might want it back, or you might want to hang on to it for 6 months and, see if you still think I deserve this when I'm standing out there.
Well, you do deserve it.
Bec-
It's all
because-
about the city and all that you've
Yeah,
done.
well, this is just one of the committees I've sat on over the years, but it's truthfully, it used to be the most enjoyable one because I felt we were openly discussing things and making presentations. I made copies of email. I didn't want to use other people's names, but if you're looking at Sebastian committee this week, and you'll see a lot of emails about the swing set. And I just gave copies of what I put on there because I don't want to use other people's things. But there is right now a movement in this city, and I don't know how many of you even know what's going on, that they want swings that we talked about, what, 2 or 3 years ago? That piece of property that we're now considering that we might sell. And quite frankly, I felt offended when I was told, well, that's up to the city council. I will start spending more time with the city council, but I think it starts here. we made a discussion about having the swings for the adults there on that piece of property. And,
And I think that was going to happen.
well, I hope so. Well, thank you. I hope you still feel this way
Thank you for
later
all the
on.
time you spent with us. Okay, without further ado, we're going to adjourn this meeting.